Assalamu alaikum. Hello viewers, hope you are all well and enjoying your life. I welcome you all to the channel of Learn with MW. Viewers, don't go near. We are starting the part 5th of the pronoun. Up till now, we have uploaded part 1, part 2, part 3 and part 4 of the pronoun, in which we have discussed pronoun from a very different angle and from a very different perspective. So if you missed that videos, go through the channel and watch that video. Now, in part 5, we will discussing further types of pronoun in a very grammatical and conceptual way. So let's start. So we will discussing some special types of pronoun. The special type pronoun is reciprocal pronoun. First, the native writer have written in their book that reciprocal is basically taken from the Latin word, and that word is reciprocus. And reciprocus basically means returning in the same way. So the native writer have written in their book that the reciprocal is basically taken from the Latin word reciprocus, which means returning in the same way. Now, what is a reciprocal pronoun? So look at reciprocal pronoun is a special type of pronoun and it is used to express a mutual action or relationship. Reciprocal pronoun is a special type of the pronoun and it is used to express a mutual action or relationship. Now remember that the native writer have also written in their book there are basically two reciprocal pronouns in English grammar, and they are basically two reciprocal pronouns, and they pronoun are, number one is each other, and number second is one another. So these are the two reciprocal pronouns, each other and one another. And what reciprocal pronoun shows? It is used to express a mutual action or relationship. Through example, we will learn that how reciprocal pronoun express a mutual action or relationship. We will learning through example. Take a screenshot of this. The Latin word reciprocus means returning in the same way, and each other and one another are the two reciprocal pronouns in the English grammar. Now we will learning through example that reciprocal pronoun basically express a mutual action or a mutual relationship. So each other and one another are the two reciprocal pronouns in the English grammar. Now look at, I'll be giving you example. The example is, now viewers, look at A is talking to B, and B is talking to A. So look at this example. A is one person, one object. We have written it in a general way. A is talking to B and B is talking to A. Now from this example we have learned that so A and B are talking to each other. So we have learned through this example that A is talking to B and B is talking to A. We learned that A and B are talking to each other. Now Reciprocal pronoun, as we mentioned earlier, basically show a mutual relation or mutual action. So the action is basically going on in this sentence is talking. This is basically action. And A and B are doing a mutual action. So that's why we use a reciprocal pronoun each other. So now we will discussing the situation that where reciprocal pronoun will be used. Now in this video we will giving you some special and some grammatical and some conceptual reasons that why do we use reciprocal pronoun in the English grammar. So we will discussing two reasons. Let's start from the first reason. And the first reason is when two or more people, things, or groups must be doing the same thing. This is the very important thing, the same thing. When two or more people, things, or group must be doing the same thing. Now here, from the same thing, we meant mutual action or a mutual relation. Mutual action or mutual action or mutual relation. So when two or more people, things, or groups must be doing the same thing here mean mutual action or mutual relation. And we know that the reciprocal pronoun basically show us and used to express a mutual action or a mutual relationship. Now we'll discuss in some example. Through example you will learn easily. So look at the first example. Ali and Fatma love each other. So Ali and Fatma are loving. So they are doing the same thing. So that's why we use the reciprocal pronoun each other. So this is the reason when two or more people or thing or the group must be doing the same thing, we will be using reciprocal pronoun. Look at the second example. We gave each other gifts. So we exchange gifts with each other. That's why we are doing this same thing. We are doing the mutual action. That's why we use the reciprocal pronoun each other. And look at the last example. The 20 prisoners were all blaming one another. So now look at the 20 prisoners. All of the prisoners were blaming each other, one another. That's why they are doing the same action. They were blaming. Blaming is basically action here. They were blaming one another. That's why we use reciprocal pronoun one another. As I mentioned earlier, that there are basically two reciprocal pronouns in the English grammar. First is each other and other is one another. So look at, we have discussed the first reason that why do we use reciprocal pronoun in the English grammar. And the first reason is when two or more people, thing, or group must be doing the same thing, and the same thing mean they must be doing a mutual action, and there must be a mutual action or a mutual relation in between those two or more people. Remember that when we are talking about the two people, two things, or the two groups, then we must use the reciprocal pronoun each other. But when we are talking about more than two people, more than two groups, or more than two things, we will be then using the reciprocal pronoun one another. So we have learned the first reason. Now we will discussing the second reason that why we use reciprocal pronoun in the English grammar. We will discussing the second reason that why do we use reciprocal pronouns in the English grammar. So look at the second reason that have been written by the native writer in their book, that reciprocal pronouns are used when an individual member that make up the plural subject. An individual member that basically make up the plural subject take each other as their object. Then we will using reciprocal pronoun. Look at when reciprocal pronoun are used when an individual member that make up the plural subject take each other as their object. Look at the example. Through example you will learn easily. Look at the astronauts congratulated one another after successfully completing the mission. So look at in this example, astronaut is basically a subject, and astronaut is also a plural subject. Plural subject. Why is a plural subject? Because astronaut is basically astronauts. Astronauts here basically is a group of people, a group of members. A lot of astronauts are there in this group of members. So astronauts. So this means that the astronauts, so one member of the astronauts, astronaut basically group of members, so group of astronauts, so one astronaut of this group congratulated other member of its group. So astronauts, one member is subject and other member is also acting as object. So when reciprocal pronouns are used, when the individual member that make up the plural subject take each other as their object. So astronauts is basically a plural subject, and it's basically a group of a lot of astronauts. So one astronaut is congratulating another member of its group. That's why we use reciprocal pronoun one another. Hope you guys understand the second reason why we use reciprocal pronoun in the English grammar. And the reason is reciprocal pronoun are used one individual member that make a plural subject take each other as their object. Look at the example. The astronaut congratulated one another after successfully completing the mission. So that's why we use reciprocal pronoun one another in this sentence, because astronaut is a plural subject, and astronauts is also a group of members, a group of a lot of astronauts, and one astronaut or one member of the astronaut congratulated another member of its group. So astronaut is also subject, and the same member of the astronaut is also acting as object. That's why we use reciprocal pronoun in this sentence. So we have discussed the first reason as well and second reason as well, that why do we use reciprocal pronoun. Now we will discussing further types of pronoun as well. We will discussing about indefinite pronoun, that what is indefinite pronoun in the English grammar. So look at indefinite pronoun are basically used to denote people or thing in a general way, not in a particular way or in a specific way. So indefinite pronoun are that pronoun that basically denote people or thing in a general way, not in a particular. Now native people or the native writer also have divided indefinite pronoun in two categories. One is in singular indefinite pronoun and other is plural indefinite pronoun. Now look at singular indefinite pronoun are anyone, everyone, anything, someone, anybody, everybody, everything, and all of these are singular indefinite pronoun, because all of these means each of the single body, each of the single thing, each of the single body, each of the single thing, or each of the single person. So anyone, everyone, anybody, someone, anything, each these are basically singular indefinite pronoun, and it refers to the people of thing in a general way. That's why they also require a singular verb. We will discuss it in subject verb agreement. Now look at the plural indefinite pronoun. Plural indefinite pronoun all, some, few, many. All of these are plural indefinite pronoun, and it required a plural verb. Now we will discussing the example of indefinite pronoun. Now we will discussing the example of indefinite pronoun. Look at the example. Somebody has stolen my watch. So now somebody is basically a singular indefinite pronoun, and it referring to that of the individual in a general way. That's why we use indefinite pronoun. Somebody has stolen my watch. So we are do not referring to a particular person, we are referring to in a general way. Now look at the second example. What is everybody business? Is nobody's business. What is everybody business? Is nobody's business. So also we are referring to the general way. We do not know what is that particular person or what is that thing. We are basically referring in a general way. What is everybody's business is nobody's business. Now look at the third example. His words are in everyone's mouth. So now where everyone's is also singular indefinite pronoun, and it referring in a general way. That's why it is an indefinite, singular indefinite pronoun. Look at some are born grain. Some is basically a plural indefinite pronoun and also referring to in a general way. Now look at the last example. Few also plural indefinite pronoun. Few is kept unheard. So few is also a plural indefinite pronoun, and it's referring in a general way, not in a particular way. In this video we have discussed about reciprocal pronoun and indefinite pronoun from a very different angle and from a very different perspective, and also we have discussed these types of pronoun in a very grammatical and conceptual way. So viewers, if you like this video, share this video with your friends, like and subscribe the channel as well, and don't forget to comment. Thank you very much.